Holiday part. Because, well, no, I didn't really either. Like, it's...
I can understand exactly what you're talking about, where this wasn't your tour. Tomorrow, it's your tour.
Right.
And I'm going to step back totally tomorrow.
It's
You're
like,
on a learning curve.
Yeah,
and
totally
a very sharp one.
curve, yeah. And this week has been an intense boot camp on the, for me.
Yeah.
And
it's a very complicated tour. I know it's hard to come in and something that you knew nothing about before and get totally involved in it. Tomorrow, we'll put you totally involved in it. It's your tour tomorrow.
Terry is just starting out in business, and Jerry wants to get him thinking more about who his market will be and what their expectations are. With the group settled for the evening, he takes him to meet champion sea angler Mary Gavin Hughes.
I think no matter what business you're running in tourism, the same basics apply to them all. It doesn't matter if it's fishing or walking, the principles stay the same, don't you think?
Yes, it's not all about big fish.
Yeah.
It's about having a good day out. And when people come along, they don't have to know how to fish. Because I will always work on the deck with them.
And which form of advertisements do you get the most response from?
Word of mouth gets around very quickly.
After a few hours with Mary teaching them, Jerry and Terry land some good catch.
I'm not touching that.
But you want to see the one that got away?
It's the final day and the day of Terry's big challenge. The group make their way on the ferry to Clare Island.
He didn't mention it to me. He thought Brian was a bit hard on him. But I think Brian's was sort of a shock tactic, just to buck him up and say, look, you know, you're in charge tomorrow, you get your act together. And if he was upset about it, then it worked. And he's thinking about it, which is good.
Brian wasn't too impressed with my caring for people. So when he said it to me, yeah, I was a bit perturbed, but I could see where he's coming from. And I hope to address that today now a bit better, you know.
He's on his own, I'm stepping back. If he keeps it short, gives the basic facts, he'll get away with it. I think so, yeah. Hope so. Fingers crossed.
It's a turning point for me, Clare Islands. Bring it on.
The ferry arrives and Terry's tour begins immediately.
The O'Malley's Tower House on Clare Island basically was used as their summer home, where Granny O'Malley would have come and spent their childhood and summer months. The lighthouse would have been a working lighthouse until 1965.
So far, so good. As Terry's tour approaches the island's famous abbey, Jerry gives him some final pointers.
Because it's an important little church, this, and there's an awful lot of detail in it.
I picked out 3 or 4 main points.
Take your time. If you forget something, don't worry about it. Move on to something else. And then if you need any more details or any questions, and if you can't field them, I'll come in. Okay. I'll be by your side, don't worry.
Right, super. This is always a kind of religious site. Before the church was even built here, this was a sacred grounds. That's 13th century, and very typical of a very early church. It has a sort of rectangle feel. It's not really an abbey as such, although it's called an abbey. It's more of a local, or was used down through the years as a local parish church.
After a good and confident start, Terry moves the group inside.
Mind your heads as you're going in here, yeah? Especially you, Derry. Can you all see the ceiling there, yeah? They put a lot of effort into the restoration of these pictures and murals because they're very unique. This is the mounted soldier, and instead of a sword, he's actually holding a spear. They believe buried in here is Gráinne O'Malley. Now, she was a queen pirate. And the tomb itself is made of a local stone called selenite. Alongside her, we have the crest of the O'Malley family.
At the end of a long week for Terry, the visitors give their thoughts on how he did.
Really enjoyed the walk around the island this morning. Noticed a lot of confidence there today, which was lacking yesterday.
Today he was very good in telling everything about the O'Malley story and the paintings in the church, and it was great.
I think he's showing improvement from day to day, and I think he's going to do very well in the future.
I think once he gets his own style and he does his own thing and just bees his own man rather than trying to copy the master, you know, he'll be a master himself.
Terry's time with Jerry and Brian is coming to an end, but Jerry has one last surprise for him.
Well, Terry, the moment of truth. We've come to the end now. So will you all hold up your votes, please? Wow, you did well.
I enjoyed it. I think it went fantastic. It was mainly Jerry's tour, really, you know, but then Jerry passed it on to me today, and I think I think they enjoyed my tour.
Your prize for the week. Thanks very much. You're really good.
Thank you, Jerry.
Wasn't it good?
Oh, very nice. If I'm half as good as Jerry, I'd be very proud of myself. Jerry's information will be invaluable to me now in my own business, you know, and I'll take a lot home. I really couldn't have asked for a better master, like I mean that wholeheartedly.
What about one verse of the Wild Rover?
Yeah.
He's taken a lot on board. I think he's learned a lot. He was much more mindful of the group. He made a bigger effort to engage them. You know, I wish him all the best, and I think he'll do well.
He did take over, and I stood back today, and I think that he ended up handling it very well. It's hard to have it as a full-time job unless you're very, very busy, and to be very, very busy, you've got to be very, very good, and he's got to go through a very steep learning curve. So I think that he should start off slowly, as long as he doesn't try and run before he can walk. If he does that, I think he'll do it.